Hi, everyone, and welcome to OEM Update, where we talk about everything you need to know about this year's vehicle model lines in order to sell them. My name is Megan Cusack, editor of Motorcycle and Powersports News, and today we're going to be talking about the 2025 KTM XC range. So let's dive deeper into what exactly these cross-country bikes have to offer. But for that, we're going to go straight to the OEM source. Joining me today to discuss the 2025 KTM XC range is Ryan Sarancha, product manager for KTM North America. Ryan, thank you so much for coming on to talk with us today.
Yeah, very excited to be here. Always enjoy talking about motorcycles.
Of course, for sure. So can you give us a brief introduction to the 2025 KTM XC range? For instance, which types of customers are looking for these types of vehicles?
For sure. If I could just take a second to talk about where we came from with the XC lineup. So we've had XC products since the 90s with our MXC and our DXC, our desert cross country, but it wasn't until 2006 that we saw the opportunity to come out with our XC and XCF lineup, where we noticed customers were taking our SX bikes and then taking them off-road racing, woods racing, GNCC, all of this stuff. So instead of taking our Enduro lineup, our XCWs, they were taking SX bikes, putting an 18-inch rear wheel on them. They were putting big tanks, aftermarket side stands, all of that stuff, dedicated off-road suspension. And so we saw this opportunity to have a ready-to-race product right off the showroom floor that they can take and enjoy off-road with all of the benefits of the SX power plant. So that's what we have. That's what we've had since mid-2000s and again for 2025. But what we updated for 25 is a new frame, swing arm, new tank mount, just some kind of key refinements. The bike was all new generation in 23. So for 25, we saw an opportunity to make some adjustments to the frame, take about 300 grams of weight out of it, and also add some flex to it. So just kind of better for comfort off-road for sure. And then we launched our new dedicated cross-country suspension in 23 as well. So every year we always put a few refinements into the suspension settings.
Excellent. And so can you go ahead and tell us the difference between the XC and the XCF models and break down the specs for us there?
Yeah, for sure. So really all you're talking about is two-stroke versus four-stroke with the XC and the XCF. So the F is for our four-stroke designation. But we have on the two-stroke side, the XC is a 125, a 250, and a 300. And those are really going to be for customers who want a light-feeling bike, fast, high-revving, free-revving engine out of the two-stroke. But also they're just less expensive to buy than a four-stroke, less expensive to maintain. If you have to rebuild one, it's a lot less expensive to buy all the parts, do the work to rebuild the engine. So there's always that core group of two-stroke customers, and we want to make sure we have product available for them. And there are in GNCC, there are classes specific to the displacements and, people riding two strokes, people riding four strokes. So on the four stroke side, we have our 250F, 350F, and 450F. And, the Halo product, the 300 two stroke is one of our best selling. But on the four stroke side, it's interesting. The 350 and the 450 are both big movers. The 350 is one of our most popular for tight woods riding. And I can tell you our multi-time champion, Caleb Russell, he was always on a 350 instead of riding the bigger bike. They just like the lighter feel of it.
Yeah. All right. Now, earlier you were talking about some of, the new features of the 2025 models. Are there any other upgrades you guys have made over the 2024 model year that will improve a dealer's ability to sell these 2025 bikes?
Well, so again, 23 was all new, and normally you don't see a lot of updates coming into just a couple years after the launch of a new generation. But for 25, we reworked the frame and the bodywork, entirely new shroud profile ergonomics. The frame, the changes there were pretty big. We added a lot more flex back into the frame, took some weight out. So for a mid-generation update, that's pretty huge. We also reworked the machining on the swing arm, and that allowed us to get more durability out of the chain slider. So just like a service point on the bike is has been improved as well. So yeah, for a mid-product life cycle, the 25 range has seen what could be considered new gen for some manufacturers. But again, just mid-life cycle changes for us. R&D at KTM never rests, and we're constantly taking feedback from motorsports, from consumers, our own feedback. We all ride and race, and always working to improve the product. So, talking about supporting the dealers, the best thing we can do to support our dealers is new product to drive more footfall into their dealerships.
Absolutely. And so, speaking of getting feedback from dealers, from customers, what have been some of the most common service issues that technicians have had to deal with in, maybe the past couple of years of XC and XCF models? And have those been addressed in the 2025 update?
Our XC product is pretty bulletproof. And even talking with our CS guys, our customer service team, it's one of the product ranges that they don't have to pay a lot of attention to in that sense. The bikes work amazingly. One thing though that we always look at is mapping. So we'll come up with new mapping mid life cycle. This is something we can have as a running change. So mid model year, we can have a running change on mapping. And that's something where we put a lot of R&D time into, make sure that the bikes will work in different environments, under different conditions. So we had a rolling update to our 250-300 map. We had a new update on our 125 map. And that's just something that makes the bike run better for the customer. Or it can also address any maybe service issues. But that's one thing that we did was update some mapping. But other than that, the bikes have been incredible.
Now, what is KTM doing to help dealers move the 2025 units?
Well, that jumps back to that point about new product. The best thing we can do is put new product into the dealership, so that builds some excitement in the market already. Another thing that we do, we have a lot of new technology every year, new features, new benefits, new technology in the industry, like our two-stroke fuel injection that we just added with the new generation. So one of the best things we can do is educate our dealers on the tech, and we do that through our tech training. So 3 out of 4 weeks a month, we have tech training where we invite our dealers to come down to our facilities, either in Southern California or in Amherst, Ohio, and learn about the new product. So they can service the bikes and also they can have great conversations with their customers on the technology. Then, of course, another thing, we still have some promos, that we offer. So on our 24 cross-country bikes, we actually have promotional financing running right now. I think it's like a intro of 1.99% APR. So we do a lot to support the dealer, but I think the biggest thing is getting new product on their floors and training them on the new product.
All right. And final question for you. What are some of the most popular accessories for the XCs and XCFs?
Well, it's a great question. I'm coming from the motorcycle product side. I like to just put everything on the bike. When it's on the showroom floor, I want it to already have handguards and a skid plate and our map switch and, all these features as standard. But there are still some great upgrades for the bike. We have our WP wheel set that we've come out with, and this was developed specifically with off-road racers working with WP to come up with a more durable wheel set front and rear, so 21-inch front, 18-inch rear. We do have a skid plate standard on our bikes, but we have a composite skid plate that's carbon and plastic composite that also has a linkage protector on it. So always a good idea. We've got some nice pieces on there, but you can always upgrade. FMF exhaust, acro exhaust, we have everything in our lineup if you want to put some titanium pieces on the bike. And it does have handguards, but there are wraparound handguards that we also offer that offer just a little bit more protection. Always a nice feature. So some protective pieces, some performance pieces, but we try to have everything that you might want to put on your bike available in our technical accessories lineup.
Well, Ryan, thank you so much again for hopping on to speak with us today about the 2025 KTM XC range.
Yeah, happy to do it. Thank you.
For more information about the cross-country line or to become a KTM dealer, head to ktm.com. And as always, stay tuned to MPN for more of the latest and greatest in motorcycle and powersports news.